everybody? Jeremy here, and welcome back to the Command Your Brand Media Attention Accelerator. As I am always bringing you guys some of the coolest people out there in business, in growth, in so many different aspects. And my guest today is Yifat Cohen. And I'm going to tell you guys the honest reason why she's here today. We had a really cool chat where she actually kind of scared the crap out of me, telling me about something in technology that has really changed in how we can actually fake people's personas to their face and their voice and everything else. And this is a really big disruption in marketing. So I'm actually really excited to bring this to you guys today. So Yifat, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Nice set.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So let me see. Yeah, this is super cool. So we have a bunch of stuff, right, happening. And I'm like, with all my technology, I'm like, okay, who's talking and who's not?
So for those of you guys that don't know, since you guys remember we were having some issues with BeLive TV for a little bit.
Friends,
we're actually using
Yifat's
setup today so that we can still be live. So though I'm your host, she's actually the boss today. So I'm very stoked to have her here. And I want to kind of find out first and foremost, like the whole thing that, kind of scared the crap out of me is this idea of DeepFake. So Yifat, I know you have some stuff ready to go on this. I'd love to hear and share a little bit more about this with our audience and see if they sleep tonight as well.
Yeah, right. It's really interesting because once I started diving into deepfake, I was like, holy crap, right? And I'll share it with you. But guys, this is a little bit unique. This is a conversation between you, me, and Jeremy. And we can answer any of your questions if I can answer them. I'm not an expert on deepfake. I'm actually trying to get to the experts and bring them on. But if you want to chat about this is the website. And you have it above. If you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, wherever you're watching us, there's a link right there. imthatgeek.com/live. Just go in there, below the video, there's a button. Click that button and you'll be able to come in and we can just chit chat about this.
So hopefully you guys are a little bit smarter than me because I didn't realize that right away. It's just like a giant button right in front of your face. And I'm like, how do I join? Oh, click the giant button. Okay, good.
So that's what we'll do. Today. So I am going to dive into, I have a little slideshow presentation that we can dive into. And I'm going to do that by hiding Jeremy. So let's see. And he disappears. And I appear. So we're gonna talk about deepfake, but I also want to talk to you about like this technology is happening, things are happening, but how can you use that or see what's like this is what's coming, and how can you prepare yourself to that, and how can you actually protect your business and make some money. So I call this the customer experience return on investment formula. And I'll just go straight into that and we'll talk about deepfake. So marketing is changing, as Jeremy and I were just telling you, right? It's harder to turn leads into clients just because of, they know that a webinar is just a sales pitch. They've seen ads like marketing in their face all the time. And why? And we have new technologies that are breaking trust, like deepfake that I'll show you, filters on photos, edited videos. People just don't know what to trust anymore. And that's a really big problem. So before I'm going to show you like what deepfake is and how that can affect you, I want to paint a picture for you guys and see if you can relate and if that's something that kind of like resonates with you. So picture yourself, and I'm going to make this kind of like, let's see, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. So you're sitting right there, right? Like enjoying the view, having fun, looking at the ocean, the breezes in your hair, the coffee is fantastic. Life is awesome, right? You're having a fantastic great day, just chillaxing. And then the phone rings and it's your mother on the other side and it's saying, Jeremy, even though this is a girl, Jeremy, the car insurance company just called and the credit card didn't go through. Can you give me your number again? And you're like, sure, mom, or sure, wife, right? Or sure, sister or husband or whatever. And you give them the credit card number. And the problem is that this was not your mother, your husband, your spouse, your sister. This was AI technology faking your mother's voice and telling you that sounding like her and asking for your credit card information and stealing money from you. And so if you think this is not really happening yet, let me show you a few things. So Joe Rogan, I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but you're going to see some of my technologies just in real time. They used Joe Rogan's voice to say that he's buying, apparently has something with chimpanzees. So to say that he's buying a chimpanzees team. And let me show you that so you can actually hear it for your own. Let me bring this in so you guys can hear it. And we'll play this for a little bit. And here we go.
Friends, I've got something new to tell all of you. I've decided to sponsor a hockey team made up entirely of chimps.
They hear it.
I'm tired of people telling me that chimps are not capable of kicking human ass in sports. Chimps are just superior athletes. And these chimps have been working out hard. They're throwing kettlebells, battle ropes, everything. I've got them on a strict diet of bone broth and elk meat. These chimps will rip your balls off. God damn, it's impressive.
So this sounds exactly like Joe Rogan. Like, really, really crazily so. So
being a robot has its benefits.
So I'm going to remove that. And this is what Joe Rogan had to say about this. This could become a real problem. I'm flattered and honored that he chose my voice as an example to let us all know that we're fucked. In Joe Rogan's way, right? So why is this such a big deal? And why is it so scary? So imagine someone's taking your selfie, right? Just something that you put on Instagram or on Facebook, your baby's pictures, right? And turn it into a live speaking video that looks like look at the Mona Lisa. She has human expressions, right? So someone can take your selfie and use this voice technology and make you say things that you've never said before, and now go prove that you've never said them because they have you on video. And what this will do is this is going to actually sabotage the trust that everybody's having online right now, even further, right? Because right now we don't even know, like we're looking at filters, we're looking at edited videos. There's so much scam and spams out there, and we just don't know who to trust. And now that you have even real videos with real voices, real voices out there, people will be even more suspicious of what's happening. And if you guys thinking like, yeah, this is cutting edge technology, maybe bleeding edge technology, let me show you a few things that are already happening. So first of all, the first theft already took place. And what's crazy about this one is that they sounded exactly like the manager. So what happened is a company in England, an insurance company, the manager gets a phone call Friday night, and the boss says, hey dude, I know it's really late. I know it's the end of the week. I really need you to transfer $243,000 to this account right now. And so the manager goes like, okay. And they're saying like, it sounded exactly like the boss, right? The tonality, the punctuation, the German accent. The guy thinks he's speaking to his boss. So he transfers the money. And then the hackers become greedy and they call 2 more times. And the manager goes like, wait a second. And he calls the boss, and the boss goes like, what are you talking about? I never called you. I never said to do anything. And that's how they realized that they got robbed. And so what's crazy about this, everybody thinks like, this is going to be 6 months out, like years out, right? Like people are not using this right now. But there is a Chinese app called Zhao that allows people to, in 8 seconds, put their face on everything that they want, and it looks like completely professional, like super professional. You can put your face on Game of Thrones. There's like people on Twitter that, created a montage of Leonardo DiCaprio's movies with their own faces. Very, very quick, like with, an app. And there are 2 problems with this one. One, everybody can do it now, right? It's not like you need some major technology or know-how or anything. You just need an app. 2, that app is really hurting people's privacies. And so people are becoming a lot more jaded, a lot more suspicious, and a lot more worried about giving you their email address or any of their contact information because privacy concerns are becoming a major issue. And so what does that mean to you as a marketer? It means that when trust is not there, right, how can you make a sale? You might make a $10 sale, a $20 sale, but what happens when you try to make $2,000 sales or $5,000 sales, right? Like people just don't trust you to do anything online unless you are their friend, you're like, they know you, they're interacting with you, they really know who they're talking to, right? So what will happen, and the way that technology is going to change this, people will only believe other people that they can actually physically touch, talk, see, interact with. And that means that the funnel that we all love to hate is going to be a lot harder to move people from the top to the bottom. And now that the numbers are dropping, right, from like visitors to actual sales, it's going to drop even more because they don't know who you are in real time. And so I believe, and the way that I see marketing is changing, it's moving towards, instead of mass automation and bots, and actually there was a really interesting article about bots. They dropped the conversions by 80%. Because when people start feeling that they're talking to a machine and not another human being, their answers become much shorter, they don't interact, they don't engage. So they're great for customer service, but they're horrible for sales. So we have to move to authentic engagement on a personal level. And I want to show you what it's like. And if you guys want to jump in right here, imthatgeek.com/live, you can actually interact with us in real time and experience this whole thing for yourself, so you know how to model it and do it as yourself as well. So what are there are three options for you to protect your business from what's coming. One, you need to build an audience of people that will know, like, and trust you. And if anyone asks, like, hey, who's the best plumber? Who's the best marketer? Who should I go talk to? Your name will come up because you have people that know, like, and trust you and refer you, right? So build that audience, build that circle of people that will recommend you, because the conversations are moving from the public to the private now. Everybody's trusting their friends more than they're trusting anything online. The other thing that you can do is live events. They're fantastic, right? You get to meet people face to face, you get to interact with them, they touch you, they feel you, they see you, you shake hands, and they know you're real, and you can help them right there and there with their problems. The only challenge is live events are costly, right? They're very limiting in size and reach and how many people you can have there and how often you can have them. So they are fantastic for building relationships, but they're a little bit of a challenge when it comes to marketing. So your last option is live video, which is what we're doing right now. Jeremy is fantastic at it. Live video, but with live video, what I'd like you to do is move away from broadcasting, like me talking at you right now, and actually come on in and engage with people face to face in real time, so they can ask you anything that they want and you can show them that you're real, right? You're the real person behind it. It's not a fake bot or animation or anything like this. And they can help you, right? And you can help them and they trust you. So Jeremy, here I can show how we can help people do that. I can even give them like a PDF system that they can download for free. Or you and I can just chat about this, whatever you want.
Well, it seems like Robert Brooker has jumped in here and actually has some comments for us.
Okay, let's see.
So he's on here with us live, but he also has some written comments here. He said, myself, on the other hand, I do enjoy fully engaging with these bots, but I'm funny that way. There's a mirth of production that needs to be released. I also reply to bulk emails, and there I have gotten some interesting replies. That's true as well. I engage with my email list a lot too. I will say that just as a side note. They do talk to me a lot as well. And then he says, I'll be in a minute in that. I don't quite know what that means, but okay, cool. All right, awesome. So I guess let's kind of talk a little bit about this as well. So I agree with you that doing live video is changing a way a lot of this is done, but I guess how do we do this the right way? Because I know you mentioned like engaging and making sure this is an ongoing conversation, but at the same time, I don't know, if you look at a lot of the big influencers out there, they're doing a lot more ask me anythings and stuff like that because they really are trying to engage. But I feel like that also only goes so far as well, because if you're just doing like an ask me anything, like you're going to run out of topics at some point in time. So I guess how do we do this the right way so that we're engaging, but we're also making sure we're running a conversation that is also beneficial too?
Yeah. So I'm very big about just having unscripted conversations, kind of like what Robert is doing right now and what we're doing right now. So if anyone wants to jump in and just have a conversation, and we don't even know who's coming in, what they're asking, we just bring them on live and have them ask us anything face to face in real time, not just comments. So the problem with comments is that you or most gurus out there, they're picking which comment, right, they want to answer. And what happens if they don't answer all these comments, then all the people that interacted with them just feel unheard. And I'm sure it happened to so many people, right? Like you comment something and you're like, well, they just skipped me and went to someone else. And why would I show up again? Right? They just don't care about me. And there's a problem with that, right? It doesn't build that relationship. And so I think, what happened with marketing, Jeremy, is like a lot of people were kind of like trying to protect their reputation or ego or whatever image they wanted to portray out there, and they only put out stuff, like they only responded to things that they wanted to talk about, right? And I think that needs to change. We need to have like conversation where anyone can just come in and be like, so Ifat, you're saying blah blah blah, but in your other document you said blah blah blah. Well, how do you explain that, right? And like you shouldn't be afraid of just having conversations with people.
Well, I think it also changes the type of content that's being put out overall, because if you look at a lot of what's being created over the years, it's a lot of, look at me, look what I have to say, look what I'm doing, watch me, check out my car, check out the people I'm talking to. It isn't about the people that's created for. So I think when you're actually moving towards more of this model, you have to create content that's actually for the people receiving it, rather than just, you saying, hey, look how cool I am.
Totally. And we have a comment from Team Bert. Team, jump on in. Come on, let's have a conversation.
Come on in, Tim.
Yeah,
the Tim Bird, the legendary Tim Bird.
He says, what does he say? He says, but that would also happen even with bringing someone on camera. Depending on the audience, you'll never be able to answer anyone. I like the idea, but it has its limitation too. So talk to me about the limitations, because I want to know that.
Jump on, Tim. Let's go, man.
Yeah, find out what the limitations are. Because if someone comes on camera and they ask you any question, and if you don't know, you don't know. But because you're not supposed to know everything, right? Like, become Ford. Just have the people that you know. But you're authentic, and people can feel your vibe, right? Like you can feel a vibe in live video, just like you can with live events. And you can see if someone's there to scam you or if they're there to do something else. So I think that changes a little bit of the conversation too.
I could definitely agree with that. I think that, you said Ford there. I had a Ford once. I'll never buy another one. But anyway, you have to care. Like, and I think that's a big deal as well. I honestly find for myself, and this is just, I guess, kind of a side note of where this is going, is like even just conducting my podcast interviews, I've started doing a lot more. I used to do audio only interviews, and we still just produced the audio, but now I'm actually on video with the guests, and it even changes the conversation. You know what I mean? Because it's like, there's a lot more affinity generated. You feel like there's a lot more of a relationship created, and you feel like your personality actually jumps more into it because you're just being real. You know what I mean? Totally. I feel like even that element of not having the video there and just having it be audio, it takes the realness out of it. You know what I mean? Because you're still able to kind of, I guess, mock something up as to what it is.
And I like what you said before, where you said, hey, it's not about me. And it's so true, because I think a lot of us are like tired of the split screen, let me promote my book, right? All about me kind of conversation. It's, what's in it for me, right? So I think, right, when you bring the audience in to ask you questions in real time, Tim, hint, hint, Michael Daniels is here. So when you bring them in, now it's a conversation with everybody. And do you remember Blab, Jeremy?
Back in the day.
Yeah, way back when, right? So way back when we had Blab, and you know why they closed the service? No. So they found that people were spending 5 to 7 hours on Blab, just blabbing, just talking to each other, just having conversations. And they wanted people to do more broadcast and more kind of like TV shows and stuff like that. But people really just wanted to connect to each other. And I think this is one of the things that's really, really missing nowadays, is that place to connect, right? The place to have those conversations. And once you provide that space on specific topics that everybody's caring, that everybody's passionate about, you will have more of engagement, and you'll have an audience that's connected to you emotionally, not just, yeah, I like your stuff. Awesome.
I think that's why Periscope took off so much in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't quite know what happened to it after that because it kind of started going backwards. But I feel like why it took off so much in the beginning. And it looks like Robert is on camera now. Look at that hat. That is an awesome hat, man.
Yeah, should we bring him on? Let's show you.
Oh, let's bring him on. Let's hear what he's got to say.
Hey, Robert. I'm gonna unmute you.
All right.
There we go. I'm trying to. So let me.
He's still muted.
There we go.
Wait, we got him. Hey, Robert, how's it going, brother?
It's going well. I'm blessed to be here. And yeah, I was hoping Tim would pop in too. I catch his from the truck videos every day usually. Yes, and I'm also that mysterious first subscriber for that $8 tier on his that he's offering. That he has to make content for because I subscribed.
Cool. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Like, so how do you think, live video and the way audiences are being, created now as we're going into the future of media? How do you feel this could go?
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you as far as the funnels go, although I am in need of funnels, and I might be able to, if I can sell $100 worth of stuff, I can get a commercial license for X funnels, and I was quite impressed with that software. But that's for something else because I'm partnered with a software engineering company, and I have some business software as a service to offer, and so that's something too. But my favorite thing to do in the world, that sort of my antidepressant medicine, is uplifting others, and more specifically, uplifting those people that are giving back in live streams, such as this, for example. The first one, I didn't start out focused right on that, but that's how it worked out when I was introduced to these people. And you could it seemed like more and more people were taking them for granted in the audience, because they were, regular with their shows and everything. So I do know how to edify an upline properly, thanks to the Amway and Worldwide Dream Builders back in the early 90s. So I went into these live streams, and whatever resonated with me, whatever was in my heart at that moment, I'd fire it into the comments. I also love typing. And so I could throw a few paragraphs in and it's still relevant. And that attracts attention, a great deal of it. And I also, I'm not shy about dishing out the emotions to go with whatever I'm sharing. I have an interest in copywriting, and I like to pack a lot into a sentence. And I still feel bad about our co that time. I found out he was dyslexic. Oh, geez. I didn't write it that hard and on purpose. I just wanted to, I wanted you to feel what I was writing. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So I began 2018 on a mission to spotlight angels. January. May was when the friend requests started pouring in a whole bunch. So I had to turn off notifications because it was not making me feel good when one of those came in. Sometimes 300 a day. And then by August, I was at the 5,000 and it tapered off a bit. And I had to weed out a lot of Steam bots, but there are a lot of good people. A lot of people that I was inspired by were on my friends list now. The only thing was I had nothing to sell. I didn't think income would be required because my wife is a cancer researcher. But something I wasn't aware of that I am now, she's in a codependent relationship with her parents. And her mother, I guess, from her perspective, anything goes to get her daughter back home. And so it did. And so she's back home. So now there is a need for income, not for the basics. I'm on a reduced pension. So rent and phone and internet, those are covered. And theoretically food too, but because there's been a lot of this and that, I've been selling my memories, for food. And I still have quite a few to sell because I have a lot of memories.
Very cool. Well, I want to kind of bring this back around to, the idea of video. And, I want to kind of bring you back into the conversation here as well, because I know, we've heard quite a bit here about how Robert feels about video. So I want to kind of bring this back around you. Let's say like 5 years down the road, like where do you see video and how video is currently being done? Like, how do you see that changing? Because I think a lot of big influencers are really trying to do it a different way.
That's a great question. I like it. So I think that we are going to move into the private, right? We're going to move from public to private. So I think we have, and just because of the privacy of everything that's happening online. So I would really encourage all of you to build your own communities on your own websites. Don't trust Facebook or LinkedIn to host your groups or your communities, because
that's extremely dangerous, because if you're giving somebody else control over your contacts or your community or whatever, like they make a change, you're done. So I totally agree with you.
Yeah, but just build a community, right? Not just an email list. Like you have to create that action. Like people are very passive right now, right? We're just consumers. We're just going like this. So if you want people to take action, mini commitments, stuff like that, start having conversations with them in real time. Pull up your phone, right? Like if you don't have to go as fancy as I do. Pull up your phone, right? Go live on Facebook, go live on Instagram, go live on LinkedIn, wherever you're. They didn't see you. Do this again. Pull up your phone. There you go. And wherever you are, right? And bring people in the conversation. Like you can bring them one by one by one. And so Tim is saying Kanye will never be able to answer everybody's questions. That's true. And not everybody has a question when they're watching Kanye, right? They might be like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Love you. This is awesome. I even remember, Jeremy, one time, Gary Vaynerchuk does this often. He'll be in the airport and they're like, okay, I'm bored. Let me just go live on Instagram. And then he'll bring people in. So he brought in this one girl and goes like, hey, what you doing? And she's like, oh my God. Gary, oh my God. Right?
That's great.
And he's being like this nice dude going like, so, what's your name? Oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my God, what's your name? This is Sonia. Oh my God, Mom, I can't believe it. I'm talking. He's like, what are you doing? Right? And she just couldn't, get over herself. So once that happens, then you build that relationship with people. Once the fame kind of like, people get over that, you can have really, really interesting conversations with people. I interviewed the youngest president of the NAACP a few years ago, and we talked about his life. And he was a journalist, and he was threatened because he was black. And one of the people in my audience was a journalist himself who knew the history as well. And he jumped in and he goes like, "Sir, very respectfully, I will have to disagree with you because blah 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 blah." Right? And what an amazing conversation happened just then. So you will not have to answer all day hi and what's up and I love yous and all that stuff, but you can have real good conversation with anyone who pops in, and just talk to them. So cherry picking, if you keep doing that, I think you'll lose some of your audience, and there'll always be someone who will talk to everybody else, who will have the time, who will invest in that, in people. And a few years from now, or 6 months, as the creator of DeepFake says, when people just can't decipher between real and fake, what are you gonna do?
Well, and I think bringing this back around to that you mentioned, just as we kind of come in for a landing here, but also that you mentioned Gary Vee there. There's a quote from him, and I'm gonna screw this up because I don't remember off the top of my head, that I use in a lot of my slide decks, that he's saying as well, like, you don't know like who you're talking to now, who they're going to be in 5 years, right? Like,
sure.
He goes, I'm going to butcher this quote, but he was basically saying is, if I'm in front of an audience of 10 people and one person in that audience ends up being the next Elon Musk,
right.
Like that's incredible. And I could have had an impact on that person. So that's what you also need to think about too, is the impact you can have isn't always about the size of the audience, it's about
right.
the people and how you're helping them.
I love this so much, because so many people are jaded by numbers, vanity numbers, right? And like remember that influencer on Instagram that had 2.6 million followers and could not sell 32
Nobody
shirts?
bought a damn t-shirt. I remember this.
Yep. Yeah. So influence and reach, two different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I really appreciate this today. This has been very cool, and it's been awesome having Robert here with us, and Tim Bird, apparently a bit too shy to jump on video. I don't know what's going on there. But I appreciate you hanging out with us today. So for the people here, if they want to connect with you and learn more about you, where's the best place for them to go find you?
Viralconnectivity.com is the best one. If you want to join and speak with experts, I'm.geek.com is where I go live twice a month. And I bring thought leaders and experts and authors and CEOs and all that jazz where you can talk to them just like Jeremy and I are talking right now.
Very cool. Well, Yifat Cohen, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Not just in the Command Your Brand Media Attention Accelerator, but I know we are in a bunch of other places right now. So thank you for spending your time with me today.
Thanks for having me.